So recently, I would say over the last 6-ish months, especially within the confines of 2026, I have been a lot more conscious of this idea, I should say, of wanting to get back into video games as a hobby. And I'll get into that a little bit in this episode of the podcast. But first, I want to welcome you to episode 1 of Fetch Quest, the gaming podcast about everything and anything that has to do with the gaming world from my personal perspective. I'm your host, Tanner Knapp, and today I want to talk a little bit about burnout in the gaming hobby and how the scene itself, the gaming scene, has kind of shaped my burnout over the last couple of years, and how I want to use this podcast or this show or this thing to hopefully change my perspective in some form or fashion. So let's get into it. Let's have a fun episode. I'm going to try to hit for about 30-ish minutes. If by chance you're watching this on YouTube, hello, hi. There will most likely be some kind of gaming B-roll in the background of the video aspect of this. And if you're watching this for some reason on Spotify as well, hello. But if you're listening to it on any other platform or wherever you are, make sure you like, follow, subscribe. I would like to get this show out once a week. I have yet to decide what day of the week, so next week you might find it to be on a different day or whatever. I might, in episode 2, have chosen a day, but for right now, I haven't done that yet. So let's get into the topics today, the topics in hand. I wanted to do a little bit of an off-the-cuff conversation for episode 1, so I didn't plan any topics or any talking points. I didn't even bring anything I legitimately wanted to talk about, but I do know that I have something specific that I want to say, and it's that I want to use this platform or Fetch Quest as a whole as a way to reignite my love for video games. And I want to do that by not only tackling my backlog and reviewing games in this kind of sit-down chat format through my voice and my kind of environment, but I also want to tell my stories with video games. Like the first time I played Heart Gold and Soul Silver, the first time I played Skyrim, some things that I've done these in the past, but I want to have a more fluid way of sharing my thoughts and my opinions and just having a podcast about video games in general. Because while I am a filmmaker at heart, I own a business called Pit Stop Studios. It's a thing that I do. I love like creating and filming things. I'm more excited about reigniting my passion with my hobbies. So with that being said, let's actually get into the episode, because there are quite a few things I would love to talk about. And the first one being the fact that I haven't touched a video game besides Pokemon and randomized Pokemon since, I would say, maybe February. It's been a while since I've actually dove in and played a video game. I was kind of moved through my first playthrough of Claire Obscure, Expedition 33, Game of the Year of 2025. And I really enjoyed that game. I was actually having a lot of fun. I actually uploaded a video to this YouTube channel, or if you're not on YouTube, you can go check it out on YouTube, about trying a different form of kind of talking through my year of video games through my gaming journal. And I stopped playing games, so much so that I just kind of let the journal die, mostly because I just wasn't playing enough for it to matter. I also was playing games at this desk, which is fun for a while, but then, after you're sitting in the chair doing work, and then sitting in the chair doing your hobby, and then sitting in your chair talking about your hobby or talking about your work, and then sitting in the chair to edit your hobby and make content about your hobby and all of the fun things that happen in the year of 2026, it does kind of kill your excitement or fun to sit down and play games. So I've made the conscious decision to move my game consoles out of my office. Now, don't get me wrong, I still want to have a kind of setup here just in case I wanted to stream or wanted to say do something or whatever. But to be honest, if I just keep my Switch 2 and I have my PC here and I move all my console gaming to my couch, I think it might help with the burnout that I've been feeling over the last couple of years, because I think the content pilled brain that I have right now is also a reason why I've been hurting and not enjoying gaming as a hobby as like I was in the past. And that's mostly because every game I play has to be recorded, it has to be talked about, it has to be this, it has to be that. And I was more interested in recording a game, taking notes while I was playing, the whole like kit and caboodle, you could say. Like, I wasn't able to separate this idea of just playing games and enjoying them for what they are, and it's stopped me from getting games like Pokopia. It kind of warps my interest in even like the brand new Pokemon game that just got announced, Winds and Waves, that's supposed to come out next year. I think, like, as a consumer, I'm so happy that they're taking extra time and they're not just putting their all and trying to get the game out this year and all this stuff. But then I also have this content creator side of me that wishes the game was coming out yesterday, because Pokemon Legends ZA wasn't the game that I really wanted it to be from a content or a consumer basis. So it's really difficult whenever I've always had an interest in making content. Like, this is still content at the end of the day. Like, but I'm trying to kind of spin it around a little bit and change my thought process when it comes to, well, what does the content really have to consist of? Does it have to be Mr. Beast hype edits and super quick, fast cuts and movements and things? Or can it just be chill, and can I just make a weekly podcast where I talk about video games in however way I want to? And if I want to stop playing games for a while, I could talk about video game news or talk about other YouTubers or whatever that looks like. And I think this is a perfectly fine place for me to do that. And I've been thinking about ways that I can enjoy the process of making videos about gaming again as well. Like, some of my favorite content creators that surround video game content, it kind of like goes back and forth between really chill people. Like, one of my favorites currently is Wavelengths, and he has a similar kind of layout and style to this series that I'm about to start in Fetch Quest. It's such a nice laid back environment where sometimes he talks about stories, sometimes he talks about the gaming handhelds, sometimes he talks about reviews, sometimes he talks about news. I mean, every week it's just a different topic. He just enjoys himself. He just makes fun videos, and I've been really inspired to do something similar to that. And on my YouTube channel, where this is going up, I used to have a games I played this past month series, and I had that go away mostly because it ended up being, by the time I got through so many of the games, it was like, okay, I want to see if I can get 6 games this month. Can I get 8 games this month? Can I play 12 games in the month of March? You know, it ended up being a contest for myself. And the way I want to tackle this moving forward is in a format and a style that just lets me live. It just lets me make decisions. It just lets me be excited to just play whatever video game comes across my table and my desk that I feel like playing for the foreseeable future with whatever amount of free time I have. I want to use this podcast as a way to just talk about those things and enjoy myself. And so I've been rambling for about 10 minutes, and I don't think I've realistically talked much about anything of importance at this point, but I think that's okay. I think ranting is perfectly fine, and this video may or may not actually get that many views. I don't really care. I want to do this as a fun little outlet and not care so much about growing some massive brand and all this stuff, and just make something because I want to make it. And so to kind of come full circle, I'm only about 11 minutes in, so I still got 20-ish minutes to chat your ear off. So buckle in. If you don't have a snack, go get a snack, go get a drink, hang out. But realistically speaking, I am really excited about the prospect of sitting down on my couch or at my couch and putting a game on the TV. Like Horizon Forbidden West is a game I've been wanting to play since I bought it in 2023, and I still have. Was it 2023? I think it was 2024 actually, but that's here nor there. I am just excited. I've been wanting to play that game for a long time, and I've been putting it off, and I've been putting it off, and I'm finally at the point now where I want to play it, and I just want to enjoy it. I want to go out in the living room. I want to hang out. I want to enjoy the game, and then this podcast gives me a platform to talk about it, review it, have a nice time with it, not have to go super crazy, and I think that's really exciting for me. A prospect of just having fun and enjoying myself. And I have my old PC, which is down here. You might be able to see it if I move. Maybe it's down here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but the biggest thing about that is I don't use it for anything, and I used to use it to record my YouTube videos. So to backtrack for a few moments, if you're listening to this or watching this and you don't know, I have made Pokemon content since about 2019 on a channel called Pancake Wizard 12. Now I co-own a channel called Try Attack with a few of my friends, and we still make Pokemon content, at least at this current moment. And it's probably been my main form of content from 2020. I would say 2020 until about 2025. And then I started my Made by Nap vlogging channel, and I started to roll that as my main kind of content stuff. And then I started this channel as well back in 2024 whenever Pancake Wizard 12 was on a hiatus. And so I have been in the content world, in the content sphere for a while. And honestly, I think the fact that my main bread and butter content, the fact that it's always been Pokemon, and Pokemon's like my favorite like nostalgic series. I love Pokemon. I still would love to make Pokemon style content. I think the fact that like 90% of my gaming time gets taken up by making Pokemon content with my friends completely just like rewires my brain chemistry, because then I feel like I don't have time to do anything. Like, if I wasn't making Pokemon content with my friends, I might be playing more of Pokemon Champions and maybe doing some Pokemon battling, or I might be playing, like I just mentioned, Horizon Forbidden West, or maybe getting excited about the new Black Flag remake that's coming out soon. And instead, I'm like focused in on Pokemon because the other half of my brain is so focused on growing my business and all that other stuff that goes out with just, being an adult. And just, having to make quote unquote adult decisions, which are never like super fun, but you kind of have to do it. There's no real ifs, ands, or buts around it. But I'm excited for the prospect of trying to refocus my mind when it comes to playing video games. And I want to try doing that by tackling my backlog first. And so a few months ago, I was hacked. My computer was completely hacked. I'm still not really sure 100% how it happened, but through that I had to get a new bank account and new cards and new yada 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 and all the fun stuff that goes along with being completely and utterly hacked. But the thing that really helped me out at the end of the day, or the thing that like really just got me going with it, was that I ended up canceling my Xbox Live or Xbox Game Pass, and I also ended up canceling my PlayStation Plus at the time, because I realized at that moment I wasn't really playing games. I wasn't really enjoying myself, and if I wasn't going to be playing games and I wasn't going to be putting time into playing games, it was useless to pay for something monthly or yearly that wasn't getting me anything or doing anything for me at the time. And so at this point, I no longer have Game Pass, which is where I was playing Expedition 33 because I really wanted the physical copy, but I couldn't find one. It was a whole thing. I love physically collecting my games if I can. And I just decided at that point, okay, I don't need Xbox Game Pass. I'm going to let Xbox just kind of live on its own for now. And I have a bunch of like retro games, but I honestly really I would rather have an Xbox Series X. I've been thinking about selling my S and just trying to pick up a Series X somewhere along the lines used on Facebook Marketplace or something, because I would love that as like an emulator machine, like a game to play. I want to play Knights of the Old Republic. I don't have an original Xbox. I have my 360, but it's a pain in the butt to like actually plug everything in and get that thing rolling. So I would rather just grab a Series X. I mean, I could get an Xbox One X and it could pretty much do everything I want for the like emulation side too. So I could always go that way if I really wanted to. But I just decided that I want to tackle my PlayStation 4 and my PlayStation 5 physical game backlog library. It is huge, and I have a lot of story games, a shit ton of story games, but at the same time, I also think I would resubscribe to PlayStation Plus eventually, because I have a lot of PlayStation Plus titles tied to my account that I never got a chance to play. I never got a chance to come around and actually enjoy myself. And other things I like playing, like I love playing Rocket League on my PlayStation, and I love doing things online from time to time with those games. So I know eventually I'll get PlayStation Plus again, but I think through this podcast series, I'm excited to talk about this prospect of trying to catch up and finish my backlog of physical games, of these physical games that I actually bought at the store with my real money, not games that I was gifted through PlayStation or that I got through a deal or a bundle or whatever. No, like these are games that I physically went to GameStop or a used game store, saw on the shelf, and decided to pick up with my own money, and I purchased. And so I want to start a series through this podcast where I'm just playing and tackling and talking about my PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 backlog library. I'm not going to start super large. I'm not going to say like, oh, let's go and buy all my nostalgic old GameCube games and play those and all that stuff. I realistically, it's not where we're at. But this does give me the environment to talk about story games. I love talking about stories. I have a couple of reviews up on the channel. If you want to watch them, you can. I think it's only like 2 or 3, maybe. Actually, I think it's 4. I think 4 actual reviews of games. But like, I love dissecting Pokemon games. I would love to actually sit down, play Pokemon games, and use this podcast as a format to actually make reviews for those games and do it in a different way, because I loved the one I made for Scarlet and Violet. Obviously, it has over 10,000 views. It was popular. It was a great video. It was the first video that I posted to the YouTube channel that this podcast is running on. But I just don't like the time it takes. I don't like the scripting nature of it. I don't like the XYZ, all this stuff. Obviously, I probably should script a little bit. I should have wrote down a couple of notes, because I don't even remember where this podcast started. I know I was going to talk about burnout with video games, and I ended up just rambling for the last like 20 minutes. So if that tells you anything about where this podcast is probably going to go, everywhere and anywhere that you could think of. But it's also an important place for me to also kind of get better with my stream of consciousness. Every piece of content that I make, I either give myself an out to edit, or I do it with someone else, so there's someone for me to bounce off of. And I want to try my hardest to get rid of my ums and my buts and get faster at thinking through my thoughts and ideas. And this podcast should hopefully give me that kind of space to do that as well. So I'm excited to see where this kind of idea is going to take me. I didn't really necessarily want to do anything super hardcore off the jump. And I've been interested in making a series like this for a long time. So I don't think I'm actually going to go for the full 30 minutes in this episode. I think I'm actually going to start wrapping up right here because I don't want to ramble on for far too long. And I do want this to be a digestible kind of series and thing. And if I want to toss B-roll over it, I can. If I don't want to toss B-roll on it, I can do whatever I want because this is my video series. But I am just really intrigued to see how the YouTube channel takes this turn through Fetch Quest, see where it goes, see if it's something that sticks, see if it's something that maybe needs to change. I don't know yet, but for what it's worth, I appreciate you for watching. If you're watching and you're still here, thank you. Leave me a comment down below for some topics or maybe games I should play and try out. I would love to do like an indie game episode or do something like that where I talk about little indie games that I've been trying or playing. But I realistically just want to talk about everything and anything video game related. And so with that, I will let you know in the next episode, we are going to talk and discuss the 30th year anniversary of Pokemon, because I haven't really done that yet in any format or fashion, and I'm still a little disappointed in what was announced for the 30th year anniversary and what we're getting this year and a lot of things. But I also want to talk about the 35th year anniversary, which I think it's the 35th year anniversary of Zelda, because apparently we're still waiting on some news that might happen in June. There might have been leaks for Ocarina of Time as a remake on the Switch, and I don't know if you guys have seen anything about the Unreal Engine 4 or 5 remake that the person was making this was some years ago that I've been seeing, that I saw stuff on this. But if it's anything like that and they can re-inject the magic of Ocarina of Time but throw it on my Switch too, I would be pretty excited about that. So I really want to cover the 30th year anniversary of Pokemon and Zelda, talk about the possibilities from a Nintendo fan, and yeah, I'm going to try to come up with a couple of different topics so I can tease the next topic at the end of every episode. But I can't 100% say that that's always going to be the case and always be able to happen. But with that being said, I will catch you guys in the next episode of Fetch Quest. Thank you so much for checking this out. Remember to like and subscribe and follow wherever you are. And if you're watching this video and for some reason you want to listen to me again on the drive to work tomorrow or on the bus or wherever you're at, follow Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you can find it. I will be there, and I'll catch you next week. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.